Hey everybody, what's up? Ray here again, and this is project update number 3 on my Merath project. As you can see, I have not continued to work on the tavern. I have instead been working on some more generic buildings, specifically these 3 back here. This is the dye trader shop that I've built on the time lapse already, and I've added these 3 in the back here, 1, 2 and 3. And these are kind of special, first of all, because they are the first more generic buildings that I've built off-screen, that I haven't built in a time-lapse. And it was a really refreshing experience, that's what I wanted to say. It's been a really refreshing experience to build these off-screen and to just be able to casually build them. And I actually did build them all at once, not just one by one. And these actually have special features, and that is these bridges. So I've taken the dye trader shop that already existed, of course, and connected it up with this new building here. And I have connected the other 2 buildings, this one and this one. These are also the 2 new buildings, and I connected these up with this bridge here as well. I really quite like these bridges as sort of a building element, you know, connecting these buildings up, making them not just all individual buildings that are just standing in the city, but actually having the buildings connect up in this way. I quite like it, but I definitely have to make sure that I don't overdo it with these bridges, because it would look weird if the city has too many bridges. But there will definitely be quite a few of these in the city, because, I don't know, I just like the elements, so I'm just gonna use it, you know. So with these buildings, I have also already started trying to integrate them more with the streets, not only by adding potholes and that kind of stuff to the roads, but also by adding elements like this wool roof here that's just covering the front of this store, really, right? I haven't given these buildings any professions yet. Well, one of the buildings does have a profession, but the other 2 don't have, which is also an advantage of not doing time-lapse videos. I don't have to immediately come up with a profession. So this is, well, some kind of store, obviously, but it doesn't really have a profession yet. But the point that I wanted to make in the first place was that these kind of woolly overhangs here, or, well, they're really like cloth overhangs, right? I'm just using wool blocks as stand-ins for the cloth, obviously. But these kind of cloth awnings or whatever really do integrate everything more with the streets, right? They are more on a human scale rather than the buildings, which are like really large and very impersonal in a sense, which is kind of the feeling that I'm going for the buildings themselves. But when you're down in the streets, I do definitely want everything to feel more human scale, to feel more approachable in a sense, and these kind of awnings definitely achieve that, at least in my opinion. One other example is over here, where it's like just covering some stuff that's being stored here, this thing. Again, just bringing everything down to a more human scale, or adding human scale elements to these very large buildings. Another element of integration you can see here with this rather deep pothole here, just being integrated with this, well, this little wall that holds back the entrance here. It's a bit of a tiny retaining wall, really. So other than the awnings and the bridges, there's nothing too special to really say about these buildings themselves. At the end of the day, they are generic buildings, and you know, like all the other buildings that I've already built. So they have all the same elements. There's nothing too special about them, apart from these 2 things that I've already talked about. But over here, you can see there is one more special thing, and that is this kind of swampy backyard-ish area. And yeah, I don't know, this is just this kind of backyard area that nobody really wants to go to, probably. Like, you can see I've already done some planning stages for more buildings. Once these buildings are finished, this is like this kind of swamp corner here that's completely surrounded by buildings, and it's not really something that you would want to hang out in, even though this is accessible and this path here is probably pretty dry. It's not exactly the most pleasant area to be in, but that's kind of the point, you know. So this is kind of one of those areas that this shiny city probably wants you to just forget about. But I just liked adding this. I just wanted to play with flowers and with plants a lot, and you can see I've done that with you know, with all of these different flowers. It's also some of the new 1.17 flowers and stuff like that. Now 1.17 is not that new anymore, but you know, these plants were new for me when I was building them, okay? But yeah, I just wanted to do this, and it was really fun to play around with all of these flowers. This was actually just a ditch that just happened to be there from the terraforming, and I just decided I wanted this. Like I wanted to do something special with this ditch that I created by accident while I terraformed this area. So that's what it turned out. And I quite like it. It actually makes the place more interesting than if this were just more streets that connect the places, you know. This definitely, just having this area that's kinda blocked off and we have to like go like a big swoop around if you want to get around. This is something that makes the city more interesting in my opinion, so I'm pretty happy with this. Actually, the structure here, you know, with this archway where you can come through and then this hard turn into this pier, or onto this pier, this is actually inspired by Arcane. You remember that scene in episode 1, I'm pretty sure, where Powder is running away from the big baddie guy while all the others were fighting. You know, that scene is partially an inspiration for this. I don't know, I just thought I'd mention that. But yeah, that's basically that. Oh, one thing is the specialized building, well, the building that I've already defined a specialization for, that way around, is this building here. You can see there's another awning here, a more colorful awning actually than the other two. And this is going to be some sort of cafe or tea house. You can see I've put these signs down to remind me. But yeah, this is basically, you can see it already has a seating area up here. This is from the first from the first archway here, from the first bridge. If you come through, you basically run straight into the seating area. And I quite like this. And yeah, this is just gonna be like a cozy kind of place where you go to have a nice tea or something. This door, by the way, in the back of the tea house actually leads back to the swamp area, so this way, like, everything is connected in a sense. So, if I just close this door real quick. If you take a look at it, this really just looks like this one stop, this like dead end in a sense. So if you just look at it superficially, it just looks like a disconnected piece here, but at the end of the day, it is more connected than it looks at first, which is these kinds of small details and small secrets to uncover, in a sense, that just make the city more interesting. So that's those 3 buildings that I've been working on, and they are really the main thing I've been working on. But there is another thing that I've been working on more on the side, and for that we have to turn this way and follow this street, because it's currently out of render distance, and you can see it popping up there. It's a city gate. This is, well, the first design iteration of the Western City Gate, and that just, by the way, puts into perspective how massive the city is and how far away the city gate is from the city center, that you can't even see it, that it's outside of render distance when you are standing at the market square, at the central square. So this is the design. This is just the first iteration, I definitely gotta change this, because when you look at it like this, it definitely looks more interesting than when you actually replace all of the red wool with stone bricks and stuff, because then it's all gray and that's super boring. So I definitely gotta fix up the design quite a bit. This is just the first iteration, but I think it's a good baseline. It's a good point to start from. It has these 4 towers with a gate in the middle, with access to the city wall right there, which is obviously quite a bit lower than the gate itself. So basically, from the basic structure, I really like it, but from the design itself, like from the detailed design, yeah, it's really lacking right now. So I definitely gotta fix that. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that this is what I've been working on as well. Very much unfinished though, of course. Also, just to once again put into perspective how massive this city is gonna be. I'm over the market square right now, and if we look along this street, the gate that I've just shown you is outside of render distance, so the city is gonna stretch all the way to render distance over there and beyond. And the same goes in the other direction. Actually, you can see right over there, right at the edge, just about in the render distance, you can see where the eastern gate will be. So the city will stretch all the way to that render distance as well. In the south, the same applies, like it will stretch all the way to the sea and all the way to render distance on that peninsula there. And in the north, the same thing applies again, right? You cannot see where the northern gate will be. And that basically means if you're standing here, once this thing is finished, if you're standing here where I'm standing right now, you look around and all you will see is cityscape. You will only see buildings over buildings over buildings. And this is just a bit crazy, and it's definitely gonna take me a while to build. I'm not gonna just build the city, of course. I'm gonna switch between working on the city and working outside the city, especially now that some terrain is done outside the city. Once I get more terrain done outside the city, I will start working on fields and villages and all that kind of stuff, of course. But yeah, this city is definitely gonna take a while to finish. So that's the end for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and see you next time. Goodbye.